Hey, what is up guys? David Zhao here, and today we're gonna answer the question of 360 video. Is it finally good? Specifically, we're gonna be looking at the brand new Insta360 One X2. We're talking about 5.7K 360-degree video, incredible digital stabilization from their FlowState technology, a built-in touchscreen display, waterproof design, an invisible selfie stick, and even 4 built-in microphones for surprisingly good audio. On top of that, we're gonna be looking at their Insta360 phone app and desktop program for editing. All of that comes in at $429.99. So how is it? Let's find out. But before we jump right into it, I wanted to say a huge shout out to the channel's very first sponsor, ExpressVPN. More on them later in this video. As usual guys, if you're interested in checking out the Insta360 One X2 or any of the equipment used to make this video, check out the links in the description down below. So for those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I actually bought the Insta360 One X, the original one, a few years back. I planned on making a review because I really enjoyed shooting 360-degree video, but I just really disliked the workflow, the battery life, and the app design. So I tabled that video idea and it sat on the shelf for several years. Then I heard that Insta360 was coming out with the One X2, and I had to try it out. Primarily, one of the most important things was the improved battery life and the optimized editing workflow. With battery life being more than 50% improved compared to the previous model, letting me shoot several hours without worrying about the battery life remaining. And the better desktop app as well as the mobile app means I can spend less time editing after I get my shot before getting a usable clip to throw on a normal video or directly share to Instagram. Let's go ahead and start by unboxing the camera. I got the creator's kit, which includes the invisible selfie stick, tripod, lens cover, and a 64 gig micro SD card. The camera itself is noticeably thicker than the previous model, likely due to the fact that they had to fit a touchscreen display as well as a larger removable lithium-ion battery. Also, in the box comes a carrying pouch to protect the camera, a USB-C to USB-A charging cable, some nice Insta360 stickers, nice, as well as the user manuals and warranty card. Going back to the camera, you can see that the camera is waterproof thanks to these sealed doors which protect the more sensitive parts like the battery bay. Inside the battery bay is the slot for you to insert and remove your micro SD card. To make sure that your camera unit is properly sealed, make sure that the latches on the doors close completely when you're done. Additionally, you'll find the USB-C port behind the door above the battery bay. You'll want to use this for charging your camera or updating its firmware. Other than that, you've got the shutter button underneath the display and the power button on the side. When comparing to the first generation model, you'll see that a lot remains the same with the exception of a more noticeably rugged design language, like the rubberized edges to protect from some impacts. Now, just to briefly talk about the 2 pieces of accessories it came with, the invisible selfie stick is called invisible because Insta360's editing software automatically stitches out the selfie stick, so it always looks like a floating camera attached to nothing. It is honestly one of the cooler features of the Insta360 cameras. The tripod feet is actually a bullet time handle, but I mostly just use it as a tripod since, well, while the bullet time effect is cool, it's personally a bit too gimmicky for my taste. Or at least I haven't found a good creative use for it myself, but that doesn't mean you couldn't get a cool shot out of it. And well, since we're talking about getting shots from the 360 camera, what exactly can you do with a 360 camera? Personally, there's a few solid use cases that for me, this camera excels at. First, I love using this camera as a behind the scenes camera. While other YouTubers have videographers that help shoot BTS footage of them, I unfortunately do not have the budget to hire someone. And especially when I'm shooting on a client shoot, that doesn't really make any sense to bring a BTS videographer with me. Well, take the Insta360 One X2, throw it on an extended selfie stick and strap that selfie stick to your backpack, and now all of a sudden your behind the scenes footage looks like a third-person camera straight out of GTA 5. It functions great for this since you can just hit record and go about your shoot and later reference back to your footage if you want to throw in some clips into your videos. Like if I wanted to talk about how I've been getting some super sick handheld footage with the A7S III, I can show this third person perspective to show what I was doing and then cut to the actual shot I get. This would also add a significant amount of production value to my videos. But yes, I know you'll kind of look like you've got a broadcast antenna strapped to your back. People are definitely going to stare. Just act like it's the most normal thing in the world, and people will start wondering if they are the weird ones for not knowing what's going on. Second, I love using this as an action camera.
So you could use it for vlogging in a really compact setup. The audio obviously isn't going to be the best thing in the world, but it's passable, and it's also waterproof. So you can use this for basically everything you would use a GoPro for if you're going on a vacation, if you're going to go jet skiing out on a boat, where you don't want to worry about your camera getting wet. This is a great option. And another benefit is not only can you use it kind of like an action camera, you get a 360 view, right? So again, there's that pro and con. You can reframe it later, so you can pick whatever you want to see. Maybe while I'm recording, something interesting happens over there. I can pan later and pan back. I have that option. Obviously, the downside is there's more work to do. You're gonna have to go ahead and edit that in your app or on the computer. And that means every time you shoot a clip, you also have to edit the clip. So of course, there's always gonna be that pro and con when it comes to 360 video, but this is definitely one of the use cases, I think.
Third, it's a lot of fun to mess with 360 video in general. Thanks to Insta360's AI-powered mobile app, you can very easily get a lot of unique and interesting shots. Some you may be able to incorporate into your productions for clients, others you'll probably just post to social to share with your friends, fans, or clients. Now, let me show you what I mean by AI-edited shots.
Right now, I'm gonna try to do some of the shot lab effects, and there's a few that are pretty interesting that I really want to try out. One of them is this one called Fly Lapse. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All you have to do is go into the Insta360 app, go to Stories, Shot Lab, and then you get all these different effects that you can do, and it gives you instructions on how to do it. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy to learn. And there's one I kind of want to check out, which is right here, called Fly Lapse. It kind of makes it look like you're like a drone POV going through whatever scene you are. And when you click on it, it just gives you a tutorial of how to get the shot you want. And once you record the video, you go ahead and hit use this theme, use that clip that you just shot, and it'll analyze it, use some AI, analyze the scene and apply the effects, and then boom, you're done. So I think that's pretty neat, and we're gonna try a few of those out. I'm gonna try one here at the park, one at the office. So let's see how that turns out.
Again, those effects aren't going to be used a ton in your production. Well, I don't know, the Fly Lapse one is still pretty incredible for how little effort you have to put in. It was literally just me walking and holding the camera steady for like 3 minutes, and that was it. But they are definitely going to be creative additions to your productions. One thing I want to circle back on, remember when I said
the audio obviously isn't going to be the best thing in the world?
Well, after I exported that clip and played it back, I was actually stunned by how decent the audio sounded coming from that built-in microphone, or well, microphones on the camera. We're not talking about shotgun mic quality, but we are talking about a built-in microphone in an action camera style body. I mean, it sounds way better than it has any right to sound. So if you did plan to use it for vlogging or action camera related shots, I'm thinking about hiking, water sports, snowboarding, dirt biking, etc. That's one more thing that it can do pretty dang well. So let's run through some pros and cons. On the pro side, I can think of several reasons why the camera actually has a lot to offer in terms of features. We've already discussed this, but the ability to reframe your shot later is a godsend when you're shooting content that's less planned and more spontaneous. If you're shooting a lot of action camera content, being able to reframe later makes life so much easier since you can focus on, well, the action, and then focus on the framing after the fact. Another pro is the FlowState stabilization. In my opinion, it rivals the stabilization of GoPros. On a brisk walk, the camera is super stable, and even at a full run, the software stabilizes incredibly well. The only excessive motion comes from the up and down movements of me physically moving the camera in the Y or vertical space. In terms of cons, well, the first thing I have to point out is the image quality. But I don't want to be too critical in this section. We are talking about a 360 camera that's shooting 5.7K, just in every direction. That's a lot for a camera to process, and all things considered, it's actually quite impressive how much dynamic range you can squeeze out of this 360 video file. This is far from a bad image. As a matter of fact, it's comparable to just about every action camera I can think of, and it's about the same image quality as what you'd get from smaller sensors like those on smartphones. But you are talking to a guy that loves filming on his A7S III with his expensive lenses. So in that regard, yeah, it's lacking in the image quality department. You're gonna have a hard time matching your clips from your Insta360 One X2 to your mirrorless cameras. That's just an unfortunate fact. Another thing is, the freedom of being able to reframe your footage in post-production also comes with the burden of having to reframe your footage in post-production. After you got the shot on location, you still have to go in and dial in your framing, which in the best case scenario, you get to dial in the perfect shot. But most of the time, it also means that you just have to deal with extra time in post-production just to get the clip you originally wanted. Fortunately, Insta360 really upped their game this past year and made their mobile app incredibly intuitive, and their desktop app actually usable. The poor desktop app was actually the main reason why I was extremely discouraged from shooting a bunch of 360 video with the original One X. And before we get into the conclusion, a word from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your online activity today. ExpressVPN has easy to use apps that run seamlessly in the background of your computer, phone, and tablet. Turning on your protection only takes one click. ExpressVPN secures and anonymizes your online internet browsing by encrypting your data and hiding your public IP address. This lets you surf the web safely and minimizes your risk of exposing your personal data like credit card information, account logins, or other sensitive data. Find out how you can get 3 months free at tryexpressvpn.com/DZ. Overall, I think for $430 for the camera or $500 for the creator's kit I got, this is a really versatile package. It hits a lot of checkboxes for, I'd imagine, a lot of people. It's a strong GoPro alternative for those of you looking to shoot action camera footage, really anything sports related. It's a versatile pocket camera that you could record vlogs with thanks to its incredible onboard microphone, and it's still one of my favorite options for recording behind the scenes footage thanks to the invisible selfie stick. And it's really fun to trick your friends and followers on Instagram by throwing them for a complete loop as to how I shot this shot. Most of them took the bait and said it was an FPV drone, but I'm also wondering why so many people thought it was an iPhone 12. I guess I'll never know. Again, if you're interested in checking this camera out, links will be in the descriptions down below. That's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified for more content just like this. Let me know in the comment section down below on what you think of 360 video. Do you think it's come far enough for you to actually want to add it to your workflow? Or do you think it's still too niche to be widely adopted? Let's discuss. Oh wait, also, guys, next week, tune back in. We've got a giveaway, super exciting stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.